This is Code.org. I'm currently working on their CS Discoveries course. I am on Unit 3, which is Animation and Games, Lesson 16, Collision Detection, Part 5. I see a bunch of code here, so like I always want to do, I'm just going to hit run. Well, it's not working. Are we still doing... Ooh, a blender. Alright, let's see what we're doing here. Applesauce. When the apple hits the blender should turn on. Ooh, automatically, fancy. Do this. Use the is touching block to make the blender shake back and forth when the apple sprite is touching the blender sprite. The shaking motion is already coded in using the random block. Awesome. So you just have to check when the two sprites are touching. Challenge, can you make the apple disappear when touching the blender? Ooh, I love a challenge. Okay, and what's this? This icon means that this level is part of a larger challenge. Changes, larger project. Changes will be saved across these levels. Okay, so we really want to do well on this because we're going to be working on it for several levels. Can you make the apple? Okay, so block, make, shake. Yep, they got that shaking motion already. We need to change. We need to check if the two sprites are touching. So did you hear what we said there? If they're touching, if. Well, I already see an empty if here. So let's see. Here's our is touching block. I'm going to drag that in here and drop just like we did in the last level. Now, if what is touching what? It looks like blender random shake. Let's go ahead then and say if the apple, because I think that's going to be doing the first moving, is touching the blender, right? The apple's going down by a velocity of 5. Oh, blending is touching the blender, and I know these are the names because there's the variables. We named this sprite blender and this sprite apple, okay? So I can just put those there as variable names. Sprite, and then if it's touching the blender, let's see if this runs. Awesome. The only problem was our blender had an apple fall through it like magic. So I'm going to do the challenge, which was challenge. Can you make the apple disappear when it's touching the blender? Sure, we can. So when it's touching... Ooh, I haven't... Let's drop apple visible here. I'm not really sure... Oh, okay. We can do something like this. Equals false. Alright, so equals... false, right, which I think means not visible, and we need to change sprite to our variable, which is actually apple. Let me test this out. Boom. Goodbye, apple. Was a bit fast, though. Boom. Alright, so I think we met it, though. We got the challenge, we got the is touching thing. Awesome. So this is the code that worked for me, right? Is apple is touching blender, and then turning off the visibility of the apple. All right, onward.